All right. What's up, everybody? It's good to see y'all. Let me try and focus this on my face. I apologize if it doesn't stay focused on my face. All right, so today we are doing some color correction. What inspired this? I was watching a video and I was like thinking about colors. And I was like, I'm going to show the people how to color correct today. My name is Finley King, and I'm not an expert, but I know some things. So we're going to open up Final Cut Pro 10. We're going to start a new project. We're going to say, color go crazy, baby. There we go. Color go crazy. Yeah. And then we're going to upload some footage. We're going to hit the import button up here. The import button is where you import footage. And I actually have pre-decided to use footage from July 8th, Diamond Peak. And that is because my friend Kote hit me up and he was like, yo, Finley, can you get me the Diamond Peak footage? Because he's trying to make an edit from it. A few months later, everybody's a little late to the game sometimes. And, Kote is a perfectionist, so he wants to make really, really specific stuff. He wants to make really, really nice stuff. Really clean cut stuff. So he takes a while to make his edits. But me, I just throw random shit together. But don't let that reduce my... what's the word? My expertise in color correction. Okay, so we have a new project here. We have some footage. We're just going to pick pretty random footage. Oh, that is not flattering at all. Man, look at my hair. Look at my hair. Oh boy, I don't even know what to start with. Okay, this is that's actually a really good clip to color correct. Okay. So we're just going to be going through it today. And this, I believe, is actually a slow-mo clip. So we're just going to jump right in. Imagine that this has like a song going to it. Doesn't really matter right now. This is a slow-mo shot that I shot on my Panasonic GH5 at 180 frames per second. And right off the bat, you can kind of tell that this is pretty, it's pretty underexposed. And I think it might be because I have a filter on it that is kind of keeping the sun out. I might have an ND filter on there that is doing that. But essentially, I'm going to pick up my shot here first by kind of playing through, and I want it to be right when Kote is going to grab the rock. So I'm going to drag over and so he puts his hand down. That's kind of the motion that I'm going for, is just that right there. That's the shot I want. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that and then go to here. So with color correction, the biggest thing that you want to remember, the biggest thing that you're going to use, I stole from Daniel Schiffer. If you guys have not heard of Daniel Schiffer, check out his channel. He does a lot of like really cool filmmaking tutorials and stuff. Pretty neat guy. Definitely go check him out. I am subscribed to him because he does lots of really helpful tutorials. Anyway, the most important thing in color correction is getting the Luma Waveform right. And in Final Cut Pro 10, you open up the Luma Waveform by hitting Command 7. There's also I think a window feature that allows you to do it. I'm not sure actually how to open it up otherwise. Yeah, maybe someone dropped that in the comments. Doesn't matter. This is for Mac users with Final Cut Pro 10. If you don't have that, you probably should have stopped watching a long time ago. Anyway, I'm going to hit Command 7, and I'm going to open up the Luma Waveform. And here it is. So essentially what the Luma Waveform is it shows your exposure in the shot. And it shows the exposure of light in the shot. And essentially you want your highest highs, so your highlights, to end up at 100. And you want your low shadows to be right at 0. In the 0 to negative 20 and anything above 100, it's pretty hard to see and observe. And it just kind of becomes distracting or just kind of ugly, I would say. So essentially, when you're color correcting, what you're going to do is you're going to go into your color correction here. And the first thing that you're going to mess with is your exposure. So for this shot of Kote, I'm going to actually go ahead and boost the exposure here right until that top part right here. You see how it just gets to 100. I don't know if I can zoom in any further. It just gets to 100. And sometimes you can choose to let it go past 100 a little bit. See how you can, this middle section here is actually getting up there. What you don't want to do is you don't want to increase it so far that you start to lose information. And as you can see, as I go up further, see how it becomes flat right there, right at the probably 110 mark. It becomes flat, and that's because that is actually lost information, and it can't go any further. It can't expose it anymore. But as a typical rule, I'll maybe go a little bit over 100 for my highlights. And yeah. So next on the list, we're going to correct the shadows in this shot. So as you can see, the shadows right now are sitting right at about 19 in the Luma waveform. So we're actually going to go ahead and decrease these. We're going to bring them down. And I like to get my shadows not too low. I think that it can start to look kind of weird. When you have your shadows too low, things can start to look kind of odd. And I'll also show you a reason why you don't want to bring your shadows too low. And that is because when you correct your midtones. So midtone correction is probably the most difficult thing to figure out, and it's really a matter of just looking at your shot and asking yourself, all right, what looks realistic? What's the look I'm going for here? Because as you can look in this Luma waveform, you have a really high concentration of information this is the information that the camera took in, and there's a lot of concentration in this lower end. So I'm imagining right off the bat that I'm going to want to boost my midtones, that I'm going to want to put them higher. And as you can see, when I raise my midtones up, they all kind of raise up a little bit. As you can see, they all go up, and it starts to make the shot a little bit more realistic. Some people will say that they want their midtones right at 50 in the Luma waveform. I think sometimes I can make it look kind of odd. But anyway, I'm going to boost that up, and then I'm actually going to correct my shadows again and drop them just a little bit. And at this point, I'm pretty happy with this shot. I think it does look a bit dark. I would maybe even bring the shadows. I'd probably bring them up even just a little bit. They look kind of blue, kind of odd. But anyway, here is your first, and you can see the difference in the color correction clip right there. So now next up, when you go to color correct, you have a lot of options. Color correction, basically is saying, you're fixing the colors that you have going on here. But in the same breath, you can add color and you can kind of change your mood. Now, there's a lot of examples of how to do this depending on what kind of mood you're going for. For this particular video, I'm seeking out a summer vibe. So I have a summer vibe in mind because this video was taken in the summer. So what I usually do for some of my videos, if I'm looking for this kind of brighter summer vibe, I'll go into the color board here, and this is the same one that we were on with the exposure, as you can see. I go to my color, and I usually bring it up into the orange area here for the master. So this is your master slider that's on the far left. And then I'll take the shadows and the midtones, and I'll kind of bring them into a colder, this is called the teal orange edit. It's a really common thing online. If you look to a lot of big creators, they use the teal orange edit. You can also watch the Luma waveform. Right now it's way too blue. And to start out, I like to boost my colors all to about 30, with the master slider being at 30, around 47 degrees for the color. But really, you can just kind of look what kind of warm tones you want. And right off the bat, this is already it's very, very blue. This is a very blue shot, and the reason is that this shot was already kind of cold. You look at this other shot and uncolor corrected, and it's very cold. And if we look back at the, this color corrected version, because I have so much blue going on here, it's just going to be sort of overwhelmed. So I'm going to actually turn everything down to 20% with all these colors. And in addition to that, I'm going to reduce the midtones to about 15. Oh, I might even reduce the shadows to 15 because that's more of what I'm looking for. And probably to reduce the highlights to 25. Now that's still looking very, very blue to me, so I'm going to reduce it even further in the shadows and midtones. And that's finally starting to look more of what I want. You have a pretty even distribution here of of cold and warm tones in the Luma waveform. You can see that. I could also even go back into the exposure and mess with that and see if I drop this down, if it gets closer to the shot that I'm looking for. That does look a little bit better, honestly. Maybe even bring down the midtones a little bit. And that is looking pretty clean, honestly. The difference here in the color corrected and uncolor corrected version. And that's it. That's probably where I would stop. You know, additionally, sometimes, you know, messing with saturation is just kind of for fun. A lot of professionals will say, oh, you need to reduce your shadows by about 15%, reduce your highlights by about 15%, so you're not blaring, kind of so it's just not obstructing, and then, you know, maybe raise your midtones to like 10%, 15%, whatever. That's a pretty common way to edit. It's not gospel. I've literally posted videos where I jack the master slider all the way up and the midtones all the way up, shadows all the way down. Just mess with it, you know, have fun with it. If you're doing it for a client, you know, do the standard way, whatever, make them happy. But, you know, if you're just having fun with it, you do you, you know. Anyway, this was a color correction tutorial. I hope it helped. If not, sorry. I'm not an expert. I'm just kind of out here, you know, vibing. Thanks for vibing with me. Yeah. All right, I'm going to stop the everything. I'm just going to stop. What's going on, everybody? Finley King back here with another video. What's up, YouTube? It's your main man. All right, so I already color corrected this first clip. This is going to be part 2. If you didn't see part 1, watch it or don't. I don't really give up. Anyway, so yeah, got this first clip color corrected. We're going to go ahead and move to another clip. This one kind of has the same exposure, so we're actually, that top part would be pretty good. I think actually in the edit that I made for this a while ago, I did color correct this clip. Cool. So we got this first clip already color corrected. We're going to go ahead and jump to this next one. So first up, when you're color correcting, you want to hit Command 7 to open the Luma Waveform. The Luma Waveform is how you color correct. If you don't know what the Luma Waveform is, I don't know, look it up, Google it. I'm just here to show you how to do it on Final Cut Pro X, the ultimate editing machine. All right, so anyway, if we look at this, we can see the highlights here are like, they're pretty boosted. Dang, they're up there. They're boosted. All right, we're going to go to our exposure. We're going to turn down the shadows. We're going to watch the shadows here drop down to about 0, right around there. Look at that. That already looks way better. We're going to move the midtones up and down to kind of see where they're supposed to be. I think we could probably get away with boosting the midtones and even decreasing the shadows a lot. I think I had a filter on this camera, which made it like this. Dang, that shot looks good. If we turn off the color board, you can already see how much better of a correction that is. If you were shooting with an ND filter on a camera, I shot this on my Panasonic GH5. ND filters will save tons of information in the shadows. You have to, you have to do this special thing with the shadows though to get it. So anyway, have that first shot. This shot is a slow-mo pan up to the sky that looks freaking sick. I really like the cold tones in this one, and I think I'm gonna kind of capitalize on that. I'm actually, maybe even bring out the greens. So green is kind of those weird colors. When you're color correcting, if you're trying to bring out greens, yeah, so in specifics, this clip here is, specifically green. I'm still going to put my shadows and my midtones in the colder section and put my highlights in the warmer section. And then I'm going to put my master probably at like 10 in the green yellow section. Just because I think that looks honestly so sick. Yes. Excuse me. Just burping. And yeah, I think that's it. I mean, come on. Look at that. That's uncolor corrected. That's color corrected. That's done and done. I didn't even really tell you guys what I did. Oh man, we didn't even mess with the saturation. All right, we're going to desaturate the shadows a little bit. Desaturate the shadows. Desaturate the highlights. Maybe increase the midtones because we're so basic out here. at Finley King Productions. And now we got this shot of Cote mixed with that shot. You know, it's pretty sus. The shadows could probably be a bit lower on the Luma Waveform, but you know, we're not even tripping about it. Shoot, what time we got? 3:26. Do I have time to like download a song? I was like, I could make an edit, but like I already made an edit, so the point is just to teach color correction. I need like a really weird shot. So kind of another thing about color correction, I will say with GoPro clips, I'm trying to find a GoPro clip. Where's a good GoPro clip? This one's pretty good. So GoPro clips are really weird in the way that when you drop a GoPro clip, all right, let's drop a GoPro clip into the timeline. Let's crop it because it's never in 1080, 1920. We're not tripping about it though. What's happening?
Are you joking, Cote?
Oh, there's my voice. So yeah, if we actually open the Luma Waveform, honestly, GoPro clips are pretty good. They get really close to what good exposure looks like in my professional experience. GoPro clips are pretty good at hitting right around the 100 mark on the Luma Waveform and you know, getting the shadows down to 0. This one, I think you could probably decrease the shadows a bit. Yeah. Why is that not responding? Am I tripping right now? Oh, I'm in saturation, that's why. I was like, what is going on? I was in saturation. Gonna decrease those a bit, gonna increase the highlights. The midtones appear to be pretty low. Probably set that up right there. If I was going to continue this shot with kind of this like cooler look that's going on, I'm gonna have to do some serious color correction by making the master color pretty dang cold, honestly. Probably have this setting in between the cold and green, put the shadows and midtones in the cold area, and then the highlights in there, and you can kind of see the colors are matching up a bit better that way if I was making an edit that was consistent. Yeah. There's part 2. That is all. I know these are really not cohesive. It's okay though. You guys are just here for the vibe.